Boom your.
Boom.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, so Eric's here with us. Eric, you're here with us. You're gonna join us for a little bit because we're gonna do something really a little bit different today. We're gonna feature somebody from the Chicano business area here in downtown, not downtown, in Logan Heights. So we're actually gonna do part of our regular show and then have her in later. So.
LH fool.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna send it, dog. Orale, fool.
Are you gonna do the interview like that?
Yeah, it's like, what's up, fool? So like, what's up with your store, dog?
Please do that.
Anyways, I will. So what's up, Jesse? You had a big weekend, dude.
Yeah, man. I had a great weekend. I went out to Prescott. They pronounce it Prescott, but it's spelled Prescott.
And they get real bummed if you call it Prescott.
So everyone calls it Prescott, so I'm just going to call it Prescott just for convenience sake. But I went out to AZ for my homie's birthday. You know, we went out there. We did some kayaking, did some camping, you know, got to see the town a little bit, ate some bomb-ass Italian food in the middle of the desert.
Middle of the desert.
Word.
Which I was like,
That's dope.
I was like sick. Yeah, so it was a great weekend, man. And, you know, it was really awesome just to be surrounded by like a really solid group of guys, and just get to talk about like guy shit. You know what I mean? I did have an interesting realization. So some of my like closest friends that were there are also on the other side of the political aisle on some things.
Like,
so
what do you mean other side political?
Well, like I would say like more conservative leaning,
Yeah.
you know, like Republican leaning. So we got to have some dialogue, you know, between each other, all like love, you know what I mean? But just like talking about stuff. And there was points where I was getting a little frustrated. And while I was driving home, you know, I had a long drive home, like, I don't know, 7 hours or so.
Too long.
I got to thinking and I was like, I mean, I love these guys, you know what I mean? And I think we're like talking past each other when we're talking about these ideas, because it's just like, you know, this is my idea and this is your idea. But I had a realization where I think for us as a society to like come together on some ideas, we have to realize that it's not like me versus you.
That's the hard.
You know what I mean? But the thing is if we can identify the Democrats fucking suck, the Republicans fucking suck. If we can identify that it's us versus the shitty people in power, that's where we're going to be like, hey, no, we're in this together, bro.
Yeah.
Like you might have different ideas on how things should be run or different policies, but we can't say that like I'm Republican, you're Democrat. That means that we're
Me
not
versus you.
Yeah, it's like, dude, the people in power are the people who suck.
Yeah.
We need to come together as a society and be like, hey, you guys suck. Like, we got to like figure some other shit out.
That's how I approach it with my family. It's like, you know, I can't go full whole hog on conservatives because you lose them. And you mentioned that before. Like when we talked about like, you don't want to lose them. So I always play it back to, first of all, I don't like typically establishment Democrats besides Obama. Of course, what he's done what he did historically, but I don't particularly like establishment Democrats either. And I definitely don't like Trump. And if you get a typically conservative person talking, they don't like Trump either. You hear how many times I've heard that over and over where they're like, he's not the best, but I'd rather him than X. Because they're also tribal, just like I would rather Joe Biden than Trump. See, we're all doing it. But really quick, the way I rein it in is Team America, like we used to say on the podcast. Like how do we want the same shits?
Yeah.
Safe schools, fucking safe neighborhoods, decent pay. So how do we talk about that? And how do you get what you need and I get what I need? And right now what we have is people who are underserved and angry. That's why the streets are full. And we have somebody on top who just talks shit about everybody. But you bring it to the sense of community. And like, I'm trying to meet you where you're at. Which I had, obviously, you know, my family situation, I've had to really navigate that because I love these people, right? Like, I love you, you know, and I don't like maliciously want to like argue with you. That just sucks. So you have to I have to bring into connectedness, which I've had great conversations with my in-laws about politics, even though we fundamentally disagree. I still can have that conversation because you got to. I like this. I like you. You know what I mean? I just don't like this fucking.
Well, we
guy.
we can agree on like 95% of the shit. So I think the key for me moving forward is like, let's figure out things that we both don't like about our current situation, and then we can come up with ideas to fix that. Versus like, this ideology like portion of it.
Yeah, it's super crazy that like, if we have the mindset of like this person over the other is going to be a win, when either one of them, how can we consider either one of the two candidates that we have a win now? It's so fundamentally we can't.
It fucking
but
sucks.
Like while you were talking to me about that outside, I was sort of like thinking of because we're in this time where like prejudices and all this other stuff is like super up in the forefront, and people are trying to check their prejudices and check other people with their prejudices. And like I was talking to you about it a little bit yesterday too, because like it kind of came up. I was sitting in my backyard and like I was listening to eavesdropping on my neighbor because I'm super nosy, dude.
Chismoso.
Straight up chismoso because I'm Hispanic, and that's just how it is, dude. Let me hear that drama, dude. I want to hear that drama. But I'm listening to this person just like start bashing Christians on like wild ideas that Christians don't even hold. It's just like they've created this thing that, and so. But I was thinking, because like back to what you're saying is like prejudices transcend skin color. It isn't just like because you're Middle Eastern, Eric's black, so I have prejudices mean like if I find out my neighbor's a liberal, what am I going to think about them?
Yeah.
Or if like Eric finds out that this other person is a conservative, right? Or Jesse, with your friends also, you have to remove those prejudices to listen. And just like your friends have to remove prejudices to listen to each other. Mm-hmm. Like if you find out your neighbor's a Christian, like what is the story you're going to start telling in your head?
Yeah.
And so like we carry our prejudices to everything around us. And we think that, or we have this idea right now that prejudices are only carried through skin color.
Yeah.
But if like you find out that your super, super awesome neighbor now is like a Trump supporter and you didn't know it, so what is the story you're going to create in your head about this person? Yeah. And how are you going to start fighting that person in your head?
It wasn't always like that though. That's what's dangerous. Yeah. And that's what makes this administration so dangerous, because it's more than just difference in policy. And there was you've heard me say it, there was a time where you can disagree with economic policy. There's a time where you can say, oh, I don't agree with this foreign policy. He's an asshole. It's about oil. Those things were like, but that's not minutia, but that's like logistics, right? That's like housekeeping. But now it's videos that we're gonna play where someone's saying white power and you're like, I'm gonna retweet that. Now you're not only now you're just yelling out to the lowest parts of humanity. Yeah. And now, so when someone says I'm a Trump supporter, you're like, you're kind of a gross person.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to like remove the immediate like snap judgment.
But what's fucked up is that the more liberal things are getting, now people like when you say defund the fucking police, law and order policy that's been enacted since the 60s and 70s, now their dicks are hard and they're like, we need more cops. And it's like, oh no, we
now
fucked
they want to push it more.
Yeah, we
need to restore law and order now. People need to respect the police.
Like, fuck. And then you see the black people are they're looting and rioting, and now it plays on to that. Oh fuck, I don't know. That's why the wokeness bothers me, because it's almost just as bad. As the other toxicity.
Well, this is something that I guess we'll bring it up. So we were talking, something that came up to me, especially in the last week of like things that we're seeing, is I feel like we have to be careful with how like woke we get. You know what I mean? Like so all the things that we're seeing now are like, whatever, Aunt Jemima or Uncle Ben, or I don't even know what's going on with them.
Yeah.
But like, it's like this extra woke shit where it's like we're losing sight of like what is actually important here.
Yeah.
Because now we're talking about like
some of that smoke screen, my like
Yeah.
some of that is like appeasement on surface things.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna get rid of Aunt Jemima and we're gonna, to get rid of Jenny Slate on Big Mouth and like that's like, okay, yeah. We're gonna write Black Lives Matter on the street. Yeah. No, change motherfucking policy.
Yeah,
bro.
that's what I'm saying.
It's what I find is a lot that's been going on is that we're treating symptoms and we're not getting down to root causes.
Yeah.
Changing the sign to Black Lives Matter is a great
Symbolism.
symbolic.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know how I feel about the Aunt Jemima thing. I mean, all right, if you really take a look at it, it plays into this like
Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima. That's racist as fuck.
It is.
Mammy,
Like,
Mammy and
look,
Pappy
Mammy and Pappy,
taking care of the house. Like
that's
just
lucky,
racist.
Yeah. But it's the symbolism. Because let's take a look. What legislation has really been passed lately to help people of color?
You better surprise me.
No, I'm not asking.
I don't even know.
No, not like
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't give a fuck about all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's still not making a difference.
But all that stuff is still good. Although
It is.
like as annoying to me as the wokeness is, because dude, I'm restless and discontent, as I've been saying out loud. And the wokeness is like, I had to get off I am always on social media. I had to get off because it's getting so fucking aggressive. But what I'm hoping is that it's going to settle and there's going to be more acceptance. But it's going to settle down.
It does. And so that's kind of the same argument the explanation that I give people. If you're trying to sell a car, right? Doesn't matter what car. You want 3,000.
Do I look like a car salesman too?
Yeah, you do. All right. So just fucking take it, guy. All right. So you're trying to sell your car. You want $3,000 for your car, right? Or if I'm trying to sell my car, I want $3,000. What am I going to ask for it? I'm going to ask for $4,000 and have somebody bring me down to the amount that I want.
Yeah.
It's not so much of a wild concept of this hard push to then bring us back into an attainable thing.
And that's what presidents, when things are going normally, you run on a platform of like free healthcare, and then you modify health insurance and improve health insurance, right? Like you run on, and that's why when I see the demands of Black Lives Matter, they're so extreme.
Yeah,
they're so crazy. But it's like, they're too extreme. I don't agree. I can say that, and I hate saying things that are against what's happening. But like, you hope like you meet one of those demands. You hope you meet one of them, because there's no way that people are going to be like, okay, we're going to,
overthrow the systematic thing of whatever.
Like,
and
hey,
I agree with that. Like, I agree with the over exaggeration to like hopefully concede in the middle. That totally makes sense to me. I think what I was referencing specifically was like the over exaggeration turning off like a giant portion of the population, because now they're like, oh man, look at this crazy.
It only polarizes even more.
Yeah. So it does. That was like my concern, was like the polarization aspect of it.
But white Jesus does need to go.
White Jesus, you're out. You look like a priest in Jalisco, by the way. Right now.
Hey, what's up, dog? You want Jesus, fool? What, dog? Hey, let me tell you about our Lord, fool.
Let's go, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah, but this time is particularly
So you guys want to see something that's super polarizing?
Oh yeah.
So Trump, to give context to this video, Trump retweets this video that was circulating, and his caption was, "Thank you to the great people of the villages," which I believe is in Florida.
Yeah.
Right. The radical left do nothing. Democrats will fall in the fall. Corrupt Joe is shot. That's propaganda.
That's propaganda.
That's straight up. That's so scary how straight up propaganda.
That's all. Anything that Trump is saying right now is just propaganda. There's nothing else.
So here's the video that he retweeted. All right, so let me give some explanation to the video. So it's people like in the villages, like driving in this golf cart. They have Trump signs. They have whatever. There's other people too who are like anti-Trump, whatever. So these people are clashing verbally. They're old white people. They're not going to fight, and they're all out of shape, and they play golf. That's as much physical effort as they're going to do. So
they eat at Applebee's.
Yeah, they eat at Applebee's and Chili's and get crazy for $1 margaritas. So now they're clashing in the street about anti-Trump, and so there's a group of people holding anti-Trump signs, and there's like a little parade of other white people in golf carts, and this is what goes down.
White power! There you go, white power. You hear that?
You hear that, Jerry? He said it, Jerry.
Can't believe that darn man said what?
You heard it. There he is. He's like, I got you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
Trump's White House press secretary, whatever. She goes, oh yeah, he didn't hear it. He didn't hear which, first of all of this incoherent shouting, the only thing that was clear was the White House.
You're the fucking president. Why are you not watching your own fucking like retweets? You definitely watched.
You definitely watched that.
Definitely.
Why would you repost a golf cart driving down the street if you didn't know the context?
Crazy.
The wild part is it was up for 4 hours, and then he took it down. I'm not even gonna pretend that he didn't do that on purpose.
Well, we talked about it a little bit before we hit record.
Yeah.
He's got to play up to his base right now.
Yeah.
Because Pride Month is here. There's so much momentum where I didn't think Joe Biden could win, but with Pride Month,
I literally could not even see a possibility of Joe Biden.
But now, like,
please don't.
I don't think Donald Trump has actually been in fear of losing. Like doing shit like that, he's like, oh fuck, I need all these motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, he needs to like start a fucking civil war
exactly
for him to win.
Because he's the most hated president, even more hated than Obama ever was.
No,
and they said
he's
Obama
top
was,
three greatest: Lincoln, Reagan, and then Trump.
Exactly.
You saw that thing I just showed you guys?
That meme that you sent me?
Oh my god!
Yeah, man, those are the saviors of the United States, dude.
That's
Trump.
Those are the
argument.
goats.
That's the argument for all white people. Lincoln freed the slaves. It's like, oh my god, you're the worst.
Word.
You're whack.
So speaking of more crazy people,
I haven't heard this.
We're switching gears. So this is
because like I don't know how much more energy I have to push into this.
This is also in Florida. So I mean,
Florida's so sick.
I love
dude.
some people that live in Florida, but Florida is a very interesting place.
It is wild.
Florida's so tight.
So this is a video of this woman. I guess it's like some type of town hall or something where there's like you can come in and voice your opinion against whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And she just like starts going on this like wild rant of like every conspiracy theory she found on Facebook and spinning it as fact.
I haven't heard this, so I'm looking.
So yeah, let's run this. It's a little bit long, but you get to see like just how wild
you
she is.
literally cannot mandate somebody to wear a mask knowing that mask is killing people. It literally is killing people.
I don't think she's just.
All right, stop saying literally so much. Because
Literally
killing people. So you need to literally stop fucking saying literally, lady. Like it doesn't. It's at this point like people saying let that sink in at the end of a stupid shitty post, an unoriginal idea that they put up. Like that's how annoying it is.
Give me some more.
And we the people are waking up, and we know what citizens arrest is because citizens arrests are already happening.
Who?
Yeah.
Who are we
even know what's
citizens
going on.
arresting?
What else?
Okay.
Yeah, you just gotta let her.
Every single one of you that are obeying the devil's laws are going to be arrested, and you, doctor, are going to be arrested for crimes against humanity. Every single one of you have a smirk behind that little mask, but every single one of you are going to get punished by God. You cannot escape God. You cannot escape God. I'm gonna say that again. You cannot escape God, not even with the mask or 6 feet. Okay?
First of all.
All right, you're out.
First of all.
You're out here.
You're out. And don't start chicken.
You're out.
She got so ghetto.
Yeah, she gets real hood.
Like, you better be careful because, like, I swear to God, like, he's coming for you.
Wait, so yeah, let's keep playing it. Keep playing it.
6 feet, like I said before, is military protocol. You're trying to get the people.
Follow proto,
train
buddy.
them. So when the cameras, the 5G comes out,
Here we go.
what? They're gonna scan everybody. We got to get scanned. We got to get temperatured. The kids have to go to school with masks. Are you insane?
Are you insane?
You crazy?
Are they insane?
Yeah. Is everyone in the room insane? But she's talking about like
5G
and masks and like fucking people dying because of
How
the
long
mask.
is this? How long is this?
It's
shit?
pretty. It's almost over.
It's
I
got
think.
like another 40.
She goes off, bro.
Okay, let's give me a little.
I think all of you should be in a psych ward right the heck
Oh, they
now.
should.
Because none of you know what the hell you are all talking about. This is insane. And then you want to open this meeting with a prayer to God. Are you praying to the devil? Because God is not listening to that prayer.
Hold on.
She's not doing good.
Hold on.
She's not doing good.
Dude, it's just like
Who is this? Okay, we've said it before in this thing.
I'm sweating right
You're
now.
just a random person, and you know more.
Yeah.
She's not doing good.
She's not. She's not doing good at all.
I mean, she like
She figured it out though.
There's a lot of that going. There's a lot of that. Like, do your own research. Like, it's there's a lot of that going on.
do your own research, but like doing research doesn't mean the first thing you see online is automatically like fact.
No, because what's happening is that I have my opinions, my beliefs, and I'm going to start looking for things that reinforce that shit.
Do you know what
that's
that reminds me of? Because this is like a large, very embarrassing scare. But there's people I am on my social media. I need to do a purge because I wish I could so blindly and adamantly talk about things that I have very little information on. How many times have you seen me walk things back? Like, even stuff that I kind of know.
Dude,
but
even when we're talking on a mic, I'm like, yo, wait a second.
like-
I don't even really know what I'm talking about right now.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
The lack of self-awareness to just go in on some shit, like you're not even doing a decent job of explaining any of this. Maybe if you got a really, really smart person to explain some of this stuff, you'd be like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, you'd at least hear it.
Yeah.
But this is like, dang, and you're on the internet forever, you know?
Because all of you are practicing the devil's laws. What happened to Bill Gates? Why is he not in jail? Why is Hillary Clinton not in jail? Why are all of these pedophiles that are demanding you all to listen to their rules? Why are they not in jail? Oh, is it because you're part of them? Are you part of the deep state?
Thank you, man. You're
The
out.
deep state
You're out. The deep state.
you
When
could say
people
it.
say the deep state, you're like, all right.
Like, yeah, it goes from like 5G to like masks are killing people to
state,
like deep
the devil.
state,
George
like
Soros.
pedophiles, Bill Gates. Like, it's just like this is what you see on Facebook.
But
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
it's conspiracy theories back when I was growing up were like 9/11 was an
9/11,
inside job.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is pretty
Super
legit.
fun.
Yeah,
I
it's
still
actually
believe it.
pretty legit.
Super legit. Like a lot of evidence. But like, I feel like the right has gotten super into conspiracies, which some of them are super fucked up and like legit though. Like,
Yeah.
like some of the Hillary Clinton ones, some of the sketchy George
Dude.
Soros stuff. The Bill Gates had like people have died under vaccine programs that he's pushed out. Like some of that shit's super legit. So it's I think that's what people talk about. And do your own research. They find like little links that are like, okay, that's
Well,
That's not-
And
that's
I just want to preface the like I don't like the term like conspiracy theory of saying like, hey, these are just completely bogus like claims. You know what I mean? Because a lot of conspiracy theories have like some factual thing that cannot be explained by the narrative. So like I don't want to say all conspiracy theories are weird, but like when you just start spitting off conspiracy theories and like that's like
But all
like,
she was doing was she was just parroting
exactly
talking points. Just
Yeah, it's like- it's
parroting
like, oh,
buzzwords.
not even
she was
if-
parroting
because
it's like the
buzzwords.
left and like
It-
5G.
if someone did that, if like there was a really smart person, someone way smarter than me explaining that stuff, I'd be like, dang. I might know something.
Because like if she would have said like even just given some statistics as to the ineffectiveness of masks, then that would have at least held a little bit of some legitimacy.
yeah.
But no, it's from the devil.
Yeah.
It's from the devil.
Once you
You're
say
killing
that-
people.
once you say that to
you're this,
anybody,
that.
you're out.
You're done. You're
You're
done.
out.
You're done.
Which I know a lot of people who do that. I have a lot of friends who like, well, the devil is going to test you, and all right,
Is
buddy.
it? Or did you just make some shitty decision?
Well, all right. I guess the devil's
devil's testing me, man. I just can't seem to stay sober.
all right.
Or-
Can't stop smoking the devil's lettuce and
devil's
shit,
putting
you know?
all these attractive women in my way, and I'm just, oh gosh, I just can't stop talking about the devil's testing me.
You're out.
See? You're done.
You're outta
You're
here.
done. Stop making excuses for your shitty behavior, dude.
Yeah.
All right, do you guys
so-
have anything else? I'm gonna
Yeah,
let you
yeah,
guys
yeah,
get,
yeah.
oh,
So big ups to Mississippi for removing the Confederate symbol from their state flag.
shout out.
Hey,
It's pretty
shout
good.
out.
Big moves. And
I'm-
in Mississippi of all places.
I'm
Man,
super like all the Confederate monuments. Like, hey, what's wrong with museums, bruh? Like, put it in a museum. All like the Teddy Roosevelt, put it in a museum. Like Confederate flag and the history of the Confederate flag, and that's better than Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany was like, nah, not Nazi Germany. Germany was like, nah, you're out. Like you're
Yeah.
out. You're out. Like officially out.
You can't like make references. You can't make jokes.
You can't
make
say it out loud. You can't have
anything at
books. Like so like it's okay. And someone there was a meme I posted. Outcast has been longer than the
Oh, that's
Confederacy.
right,
Like
yeah.
let's put So Fresh So Clean lyrics on like
Yeah.
or Georgia State.
It was literally for like a couple years.
like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So it's like, but and that's where people say like it's it's bigotry. It's bigotry because it's not like the Confederate has some long, rich history. It's like no,
No.
like you lost and you wanted to keep slaves and it was super about slaves. They're like, it's states' rights to keep slaves, bruh. That's what. That's why. You know. So it's out. Like it's too. You know, and that's some of the wokeness. Like dismantling the symbols of racism are good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're taking away like the legitimacy. Like, oh, now you're on a fringe. If you're walking around with a Confederate flag on your car, you're on the fucking fringe, bro. You can't. You know we're not supposed to have that in public. So now you're exposing yourself. So understanding like super wokeness to be like
that's
these
not.
things are not
I don't think
acceptable.
that's super woke though. That this is just like normal stuff. I'm talking about like the super woke like bro, like
dude,
chill out. You know what I mean?
Here's what I kind of found really interesting. So in their like state senate, state legislation, the bill passed what Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves wrote. The bill passed 91-23, and in the House, and 37-14 in the Senate. Like, so looking at those numbers, there's a pretty big percentage of opposition to removing the Confederate symbolism in their flag. Like, whew.
But their they might be in small towns. Their constituents are like, hey,
we need that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But, you know.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, I think what this time has brought to light is like how much just like racism and like prejudice is just like here. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's just like making it so obvious now where like people who weren't aware of it before are like, oh shit, this is like actually like still a thing.
Yeah, when people I hate when people say ask. You know that? You know?
Hey, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Hey, I almost said it. But when people ask,
just like, be free.
No.
Just say it.
No. No, like it's interesting because everybody knew this was going on. You know, Dave Chappelle says, you were in on the heist, you just didn't like your cut. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like people were in on it. And I think if just the acknowledgement of it, you know, that's really my thing is like, hey, let's all sit down and be like, yeah, this is a real thing. And that goes so far to say that it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Because for so long, people would say like, oh, it's like,
that's
they bring up race. They bring up race. They always bring up race.
It's like,
but now it's like, oh, look, I went over the layers of racist systems in this country. And even for myself as a good thought exercise to be like, oh, like it's within the education system. It's within the judicial system. It's within other legislation. It's history books. It's like, damn, this shit is deep. And now this is a time where that shit's coming to light. Yeah. And people who did know that there was racism are looking into those things. And they're at least saying that's real, which all of this including the dissent from the right, this is all going to be a positive thing. We got to stop the inflammatory propaganda. That's like my Joe Biden hope is like, let's get this motherfucker out so we can have business as usual. Let's start with normal. Let's get to normal, and then we'll go from there. We don't need Bernie right now. We just need normalcy so we can breathe.
Although if Bernie was still in the race, bro, it would be landslide.
Because Bernie would have been marching,
this
bro.
Would have been this would have been like game changer.
This would have been over.
Yeah. It didn't just have to be Bernie. It was so many other people. That
I would have, if Bernie was in the race, I legitimately would have had to get a Bernie tattoo, I think.
Yeah.
From that old bet that we made. If Bernie won, then I would have to get a Bernie tattoo.
Yeah, no.
Really quick, I'm about to let you guys live.
Well, we got a break here pretty soon.
We're gonna break here. But really quick, I want to do a fitness challenge. So over the next couple weeks, we're gonna work.
You want to let me live, but then you want to challenge me to fitness challenge?
Yeah, kinda,
dude. Calories. Let's just do calories.
Are we
No.
Is your wife gonna let you buy a whoop strap?
Yes, she will.
Is your
my wife?
Is your wife gonna?
She's actually gonna buy me a whoop strap.
Oh, is she?
She's balling like that.
Okay.
Damn. Yo, let's just do the calories thing.
Nah.
Okay. Just keep it.
What do you want to do?
Nah. I don't.
Nah. Are we gonna do another like fat lot like that? Just
no. So we're gonna have metrics, and I'm gonna come up with metrics.
You're gonna come up.
So you can do burning calorie. If you burn this many calories, great. If you gain like this much muscle mass, great. If you fucking lose this much fat, great. Like whatever the fuck it is, we're gonna have different metrics. Like you get plus 1 point for this or minus.
Are you putting that together?
I'll do it.
No fucking way. I don't even know
because I just don't want to do like flat calories or just like flat.
I'm down to make it as engaging as possible.
If I'm trying to gain weight in the gym, I'm not trying to burn like thousands and thousands of calories.
Let's do it. Look, I just want to do it. I'm going to get in shape anyway, but I want to do it together. Benny is getting fatter and fatter by the day. okay? I just can't allow it.
Hey.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So are you, though.
I'm just kidding. Look how I'm punching. They can't even see my belly.
So
dude.
right now,
sucking it in right now, letting that shirt hang.
So right now,
exactly, bro.
right now the gyms are open, and I'm totally down to do this. Hopefully,
Well, they
in a
might
week
close
they
up
might
again,
close
though.
again.
They might close up.
But
again.
that
Well, we can run on the
my
street.
bike.
We can still go
I got my
hard,
bike
though.
going. We're gonna fucking pedal out this bitch, bro.
Yeah.
Do we have
So
to
I'm
do
down.
that fucking water dunk thing again?
No. Oh, are we? Yeah, we might.
We have
Are
to
they
do
still
that,
doing
right?
that?
You can technically.
Oh,
yeah,
they
we can
probably
technically do that.
won't, though.
We'll look into it, but I'm gonna let you guys get prepped for your guest. Let me plug my Instagram, Eric_BigMoodCoach, BigMoodCoach.com. We out here, we're creating.
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
We out.
There's
here.
new shit online all the fucking
But
time.
real quick, like with all the shit that Eric gave me last year when we did No Jewel July, like I lost 30 pounds
So
with everything that you gave me.
yeah,
Okay.
Like the way you
We're not
wrote
calling
out
it
my
No
meal
Jewel
plan.
July.
I like.
Okay.
Okay, whatever you want to call it. I
Unless
just,
we're quitting
Okay,
Jules.
hot boy summer. We're gonna call it Hot Boy Summer. What are we gonna call it?
Okay, we'll come up with this cool name.
All right, whatever.
All right.
But so just like I lost 30 pounds with all the stuff that you gave me. So whoever is fucking listening should get on it.
I'll get
Like
you
I
on some-
legitimately.
I'll get
And it
you-
Oh
was
yeah, we
hard.
want to get people
we're gonna
involved,
get
right?
you on some TRT too, bro.
Dude, can I inject it into my penis? Will it make it
All
bigger?
right, let's wrap it up.
Okay, yeah, let's we're gonna take a break and bring our guests in. So we'll see you guys very
See
shortly.
you in a
We
bit.
out.
All right, so we are back. We
Back
took a
from our
little bit
little
of break.
break.
Yeah, we took a little bit of break there, and we're joined today by somebody who I'm actually really, really happy to have on today. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. It's Xochitl Villarreal. Hi, Xochitl.
Hola.
Welcome.
¿Cómo estás?
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me. You know, I was looking forward to do this as well.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I'm excited to share my story with you guys, and I'm here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just to give a little context, Xochitl owns Casa Xochitl, right?
Yes.
And is Casa Xochitl both stores, or are they
Yes.
kind of separated? They're like separated but together,
I call
right?
it Casa Xochitl Chiquita and Casa Xochitl. Or it's Casa Xochitl 1 and Casa Xochitl 2.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I cannot, you know, I could not pick a name for the second one. So
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I just gonna name it Casa Xochitl.
Yeah, so Casa Xochitl is like I mean, I think it's more than a gift shop to me, honestly. I know it says it's a gift shop, but to me, it's definitely way, way more than a gift shop.
Can you explain to me why you
yeah,
say that?
because you don't just sell like little trinkets or stuff. You feature these beautiful, like I'm actually wearing a shirt from Casa Xochitl Chiquita, right?
Yes.
You know? So these like beautiful works of art that are handmade from people in different parts of Mexico and even like local artists and stuff. So to me, like you hold a little bit more than like just a gift shop to me. You're like a feature for people who make these beautiful creations, and you feature those people and you sell them in your store.
Absolutely.
And you tell these stories. If someone asks you a question, you tell them these stories.
All the
You-
time.
You know, where they come from, who this person is. There's a personal connection to each piece of every item that you have in that store. And I think that's beautiful.
It's unique, yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things that I wanted to promote. You know, it's not only from Mexico. I don't know if you know, but we have things from Peru.
Yeah.
We have
yeah.
things from Colombia and also from Guatemala. And I would love to have from all over Latin America, and why not from the world? But you know, what I have, you know, in hand, what I have close is what I promote, and I like to work straight from the artisan, so I can share the story about them. You know, like for example, the last items that I started selling, which is, you know, the new normal. Yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
new
the
normal.
mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a mask. So these ladies from Guanajuato, they did not have work. You know, they didn't have a job. So they were painting handbags and they were doing other stuff, earrings and stuff, but they were not selling anything. So I called this lady and I said, hey, you know, I want you to make some face masks for me because we really need them. I can make them, but I don't have the time. I'm doing so much stuff and so much things. You know, I have 5 children, I'm married and, you know, manage the business. And also I'm a pastry chef and I have my own brand as well, you know, of Sabor de Antaño. That honestly, I don't have the time. So I called this lady and she got scared. She said, no, I don't make any masks. So I told her, yes, you can make masks. If you can make this, you can make that. So she's like, oh, no. Long story short, 1 week after that, she said, we're selling this mask from this provider and blah, blah, blah. When I told her that I needed 600, I think her eyes, like went big and say, hey, maybe I can do this because I can make money off of this.
Yeah.
So I know she started watching, YouTube videos. They learned 12 ladies. Now they have a job because of the idea of the face mask.
That's awesome.
So we are, we're giving them the opportunity to do something out there for us, and I bring all that stuff to San Diego. So it's a little bit of Mexico and in United States here in San Diego. So, and I feel good because then I feel that we're doing something good with them, and helping them, and giving them ideas what to do. And that's not the only idea that I gave them. I gave them the scrunchies for the hair.
I bought one for myself.
You did?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not wearing it now, but I did.
And also, the, how do you say that in English? Antifaz? Para cuando duermes?
Oh, a sleeping mask.
Yes. So those as well of Cambaya, which is Mexican textiles. And it's amazing, I'm very excited to work with them. And I really like working with them and being able to help a little bit.
Yeah. No,
and, we have tenangos from Hidalgo. We have clay from Oaxaca. We have, you name it, so many things. Flowers from Tijuana as well, from Ensenada. We have this beautiful jewelry from Ensenada. We have lots of artists, local ones, and also for across the border and from all over Mexico.
That's amazing. So that's why, with all of that you just explained, it's more than a gift shop to me. It's like a hub or a center that features all of these beautiful different parts. I mean, because Mexico's big.
Yes.
Right?
We have so much.
We have so much. I mean, we have... Spanish isn't the only language that's spoken in Mexico. There's thousands of different dialects.
Yes.
Right. And so we get you feature things from every, it seems like every region, not just Mexico, but different parts of Latin America, which is, I think that's amazing. So
what we're doing here, it's Benito, it's more like promoting our Latin culture, and which is, I also, learning, I'm learning with all the community. Not only, I'm not a, a savvy person, I'm trying to learn with them, because every day you learn. Every single day you learn from the older people, you learn from a kid, you learn from someone who comes to the store that it's from different parts of Mexico or different parts of Latin America, even from Europe, even from Asia, from all over. You learn something. When they come here, they get connected in the store. I see their faces. I wish to have a camera to capture those beautiful moments when people come into the store and they feel love already. They feel, they're connected because they see something that they see at home. Or from their backgrounds or their parents or their grandparents. And probably you're right. It's not only a gift shop. It's just a store that promotes culture.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have a question for you.
Yes.
What gave you the inspiration to open up your first store?
I always been an entrepreneur since I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, let's start from the beginning.
Oh,
so
it's funny.
Yeah,
you want me to tell you about it? It's funny. When I was 6 years old, I was in first grade, right, in Tijuana, la escuela Aquiles Cerdán en la Colonia Herrera. That's, that's the neighborhood that I used to live. And I remember that I see the cooperativa, ¿cómo se dice la cooperativa? Where they sell the candy at Mexico. They're able to do that, not here, but they can sell candy, they can sell tortas, they can sell tacos, they can sell burritos, they can sell everything. So I used to see a lot of money on the little boxes. I say, oh my gosh, you're making a lot of money selling all this candy. So I can sneak some candy and maybe I can sell it because you're not supposed to do that. So I used to go to the candy shops in Rosarito because my father had businesses over there in Rosarito. So I have a candy shop. I said, it's the only place that I can go, 6 years old. And I used to bring these, lollipops, like tamarindo lollipops.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to sell them. They let's say they cost me 10 pesos the bag, and I used to make 100 pesos out of it. Oh. So it was a lot of money. I was like, I'm making money. So I like that, Then when I was in fourth grade, I opened a little, like tiendita, like Mexican tiendita, abarrotes, whatever, you name it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was selling fruit. I was selling, like popcorn. I even was, closing the plastic bag with this knife, and then I used to pass on a candle, to burn it, so that way I seal it.
Yeah.
I didn't have the sealer, obviously, but I had to manage. I always have the ideas. I started making marmalades from my fig tree. Obviously, they were not good. They were not good. But my brothers will eat it,
Yeah. And is this still
This is
in
true
fourth
story.
grade?
This is fourth grade. Yeah, this is true story. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say this here or not, but my brothers love to go to the beach and, like they were, like surfers.
Yeah.
So they used to love mota. So they were always, stoned and hungry. So they will eat my marmalade. So
the marmalade sounds great when you got
with
the
bread.
munchies.
Oh, yeah, that's a word, the munchies.
The munchies.
All of them, all of my brothers. So, it's nothing that I feel ashamed or proud, but it was their lifestyle. So I cannot say anything. But I remember that, and I remember the smell too. And I really enjoyed it.
It brings back a lot of memories.
So, anyways, I was selling there. Then when I got married really young. So I was 16. And I remember I told my husband, I said, hey, I want to open a mariscos, like seafood, stand. In Mexico, you were able to do that. I was selling fish tacos and I was selling shrimp tacos and cocktails, clams and shrimp and octopus and everything. And I was making good money. I was 16. So that was a formal business. And we were making good money. And I always liked, to be around people, to talk to people, to be a people person, and I think that was the idea. I was, it was in the back of my mind, but I was afraid to open a business here in the States. Why? Because I just moved here 19 years ago, almost 20 years ago. And obviously the language was a barrier, my English is not perfect at all. I never went to school to learn English. I just picked it up 19 years ago. And long story short, I said, I came here to Barrio Logan because I was selling my marmalades and on the flea markets. And I wanted the opportunity to be in this neighborhood for some reason. I was determined that I was going to be there. It took me a long time. I knocked lots of doors. Lots of doors were closed. Not one time, not two times, not three times, many times. I even cried. But you know what? One person came to me and told me, Xochitl, the limit is the universe. Don't worry about it. And I love this person. And then I start talking to her, and then she said, one day, don't worry about it. You'll have it. So I was at Café Por Vida, and I was talking to this person, and then I talked to another person. And a year after that, they say, hey, we have a place available for you. I was like, amen. I was
Nice.
so happy, And then I opened Casa Sobi Chiquita here in San Diego. That was my first business in the States. I worked for different companies here in San Diego. I was very successful on all of them. Even though I didn't have a perfect English, I was a top salesperson for Chanel in one of the counters here in one of the stores in San Diego. And I was also, I'm not sure if I can say names and everything. Is that okay? Yeah, perfect.
It's up to you, whatever you want out
it's fine.
there.
No, it's fine. I worked for a car dealership in El Cajon, Malsi Nissan. And I was a top salesperson for 3 years.
Wow.
I was averaging 22 cars a month.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Was the first Latina, in the West Coast that I won the Award of Excellence for Nissan.
Wow.
So I felt really, really comfortable about it. Like I said, and I always remark this because it's the truth and I'm not ashamed of my English. I probably cannot communicate 100%, but you understand me what I'm saying.
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
there's something that I've always admired.
Yes.
I had the privilege of being born here. And I always have this just immense amount of admiration for like my parents or somebody like you who would take a risk like that.
Oh, yes.
Not and such an unknown risk and remove yourself from a completely familiar environment
Exactly.
to something very, very foreign and
you.
thrive.
Oh, yes.
Like that is
It's-
so admirable.
When I see kids, they come from Mexico for any other part. And when they come here in their young age, it's okay. But once you're adult, I already had 3 kids when I came here. Marco, Molly, and Alexander. So I didn't care. When I went to look for that job in Macy's, I remember I told the lady in Spanish, I say, no te vas a arrepentir de tenerme aquí. She's like that. You're not going to regret. Believe me. And they were going to close this counter, the Chanel counter.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Angie Rios, that's her name, and Andy Vecchio. Angie Rios and Andy Vecchio. I still remember their names.
Awesome.
I told Andy, I said, Andy, you're not going to regret. Please, hire me. I have so much, necessity. I had already 3 kids and I wanted to help my husband because it was one income wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
We were living in San Isidro. And I said, I don't want to live in San Isidro all my life. I want to move from here and I want to be able to purchase a house and have credit and grow, So it happened right after. 1 year after, we were doing better. And then the next year was even better and so on and so forth. So when I was selling lipsticks, I said, okay, I'm selling, let's say 1,000 lipsticks a month and I'm making this amount of money. If I sell this amount of cars, I'm gonna make 20,000 times more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. That's what I did.
You promoted yourself.
Well, I did.
Yeah,
I did, and I knocked the door there too. And I was like, very persistent. I remember the manager. You are not gonna regret. I was working for Chanel in Robinson's May, or when it was Robinson's May in El Cajon. Ooh. And they called me from Masinisa on El Cajon and said, hey, I want you to come here because we want to hire you. And I jumped, I remember. I said, this is the most amazing and the happiest day of my life because I want to sell cars. Just like that. Yeah, I was so happy, so excited. Awesome. Oh my gosh, you didn't know. Oh my gosh. It was so much stress. It was so amazing to work, in the world of men and being a woman and being a minority. Yes. And the only woman with 22 guys. That was tough. But I never let myself down and I never let anybody disrespect me. And I stood up for myself. And I didn't let anyone step on my toes or my money. And I even learned a little bit of Farsi to make sure they were not making anything wrong with my deals or taking any money from me.
Yeah, that's,
we went to a totally different, where I'm coming from, what I'm doing.
No, of course, yeah. I want you to go whichever direction you want. But I love that so much because as of recent, what's been happening recently is this notion that we're not going to make ourselves the victims, right, of people of color, especially being Hispanic and all of the other things that we have, all the other hurdles that we have to face, but we still show up, right? And there may be some things that are extra steps that we have to go through and put forth extra energy or, other things we have to jump over, but we're still going to show up. People like you are a huge example. People like my parents are a huge example. And that's something that I learned also, to not let that weigh me down, but still show up regardless. Yes. Right. If I have to get through something, I'm going to get through it.
That's what they teach you, our backgrounds, your parents, your grandparents, the struggle and the need and the want to be or become who you are or what you're going to be at and how long. It just depends on you, not on anybody else. Everything starts with you. Everything starts with ourselves, not with anybody else. Don't blame anybody. Blame yourself for your mistakes, for your for whatever you do wrong. You have to blame you, nobody else. I cannot blame my parents for not finish a career at the time that I have to finish a career, at school. I cannot. They gave me the opportunity. If I didn't have the opportunity, I could go get it. Why? Because I have 2 hands. I'm healthy. I have 2 eyes. And we're equal. You, Benito, and I, we're equal. Sometimes people fight for equality. And we're talking about, this is a very important subject. When I got divorced, and I had to share this because this is important as well. My ex-husband is Molly's, my daughter's father and my son's. I remember that I told the lawyer that divorced us, you know what? I don't want anything. I don't want child support. I don't want your 401k. I don't want anything. because we are the same, right? I want the same rights. So I need to go to work. I'm not going to live off of you. Yeah, you're the parent. You can help me. But I have also responsibility. So it's 50-50. And I'm not going to fight with you for that. I don't need your money. I can work. I'm healthy, like I said. I have 2 eyes, I have 2 hands, and I can go to work. So if you want to be equal, start with that, I think.
Yeah.
That's my way of thinking on equality. And I'm talking about, like, this is a totally probably different subject,
No,
but it's
definitely something I wanted to talk about.
But it is the truth, like, you start with you. This is just an example, of who I am, what I am, and what I think. And I think that we all have to be, you have to thrive, you have to really think where you want to go and where you're going to be. Like I did with the Casa Xochitl. Your question was, what motivates you? What motivates me is many things. I motivate myself. I don't need motivation from anybody. You have to motivate yourself. If you really want to do something, you motivate yourself. Get up early. Be ready every morning. And the earlier you get up, the more you can do. You get up at 10, your day is going to be nothing. Your day is not going to be it's not going to be worth it. Why? Because you already lost the 3 important hours in the morning. First, get up. Whether you like coffee or tea or whatever, or go and water your plants and go and sweep your floors and take a shower, whatever, to get ready. If you have children, I have to get up early, no matter what, if I have help or not. You got to get up early because you have a responsibility already, because you chose that. You chose that responsibility. You're a parent, get up. Even though you're not a parent, you got to get up early and go for it. Go get it. That's what I think. And that motivates me a lot myself.
Yeah, I guess I need to start getting up earlier.
That's awesome. I mean, I really appreciate your values and your ethics. It's huge. I think that's something that younger generations might be missing a little bit, is learning how to take responsibility for ourselves. It's so much easier to point the finger and say, oh, it's because of this, 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 and this. But like what you're saying, it's really about taking responsibility and knowing that if we're going to succeed or fail, it's up to us.
Exactly. And I can share so many stories, in my life. And one of them, it's like the strongest one, is my older son. He has schizophrenia. He's 28. He has addiction. He's been in places three times. The last time he was for 2 years in a clinic in Tijuana. I was paying, obviously, working for my son. And he decided he was okay. So he escaped. And he's on the street right now. I don't know where he's at. And that doesn't stop me. That doesn't make me feel, ay, pobrecita, poor me. Oh, my son, like it's my fault. It's not my fault. It's not. You take your decisions. You make your decisions. You got to take actions. Like whatever it comes, what can I do? You tell me. Already, I was, honestly, when I was here, I was crying with my daughter. And we were talking about Marco as well, my son. And I felt terrible. And I feel terrible. I'm not going to say no. But he needs to take responsibility. That's a big word of what he's done.
So just to share on that, the way we started this podcast, Jesse, me, and Eric in the control booth, we're all recovering addicts. And that's how we met. So what
Felicidades, la verdad.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, praise the Lord.
Yeah,
honestly.
we got to see like what happened to our parents, right? But I just want to like commend you, because like putting up that boundary like with your son and not getting so overtaken with that is actually something super beneficial that you can do. Right?
Yes.
At every point, Eric, your parents set a boundary and was like, this is it, right?
Yeah, man. My parents, I feel like every parent takes it on. But it's a really peaceful place when you see parents finally make peace with it, and it's not their fault. And I want to just show you some love for that, because parents really take that on. It took me years to realize the impact I had on my family,
Yeah. And it does. And like, when I took a step back and I realized like what it did to my wife, see me go through treatment, go through like this agonizing pain of growth to get on the other side. And then seeing this is Eric, who's in there too, has shared like the biggest casualty is like what we do to our parents. Like a mom seeing her baby go through this and like, so I really want to show that appreciation to you. I mean, I know it's not easy and it's hard to be strong.
Well, I also want to say you're an amazing example of what it is to be a powerful woman, you know, and to grow such a beautiful family and to grow such a beautiful business, you know, like you're a great example. And your son will one day see you as the example and follow your example. So,
thank you. I'm already crying, but it's okay. You know, it's okay to cry. You know, I am very sensitive sometimes. I've been tough for so long and not able to, you know, like a drop a tear because I wanted to be tough. Not tough in the mean way, you know, like strong for myself. Like you stand for yourself. Get up every morning. Don't think about this. It's really hard when you let go. You never let go as a mother, but you let go somehow. You know, like, okay, you know, you were 19, then you were 20-some years old. Now you're 28. You know, you have to really, you know, like think about what you're going to do. I have other children too. And I teach and it's como se enseña. I taught, right?
Mm-hmm.
I taught them the same. All of them. I give them and I fed them in the same table. And I gave them the same love. And every single kid is different. You know, it's from like exactly like the palm of your tree, your hands. Your fingers are totally different, but they're all yours. And if you take one out, it hurts. So it's the way you feel as a mother, you know. And I talk to my children, you know, and I meditate, you know, a lot, you know, like, and that helps me a lot. You know, it makes me feel better. Every morning and night, I pray. You know, I think for now, it's the only thing I can do. I'm not ashamed of it. You know, I've never been ashamed. If I see my son on the street, I will go hug him. But I cannot, you know, like take decisions for him anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, I did the last 3 times, but I cannot anymore. I think he is old enough to know what's good from bad and what's right from wrong. And you know what? He needs to take medication for life and he needs to take it. You know, like it's not up to me. It's up to himself because he also has a brain and he thinks. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like an addict, you know, even though you don't have money, you know how to go and get it.
Yeah.
Whether you sell drugs or you sell yourself, you sell your body, you know, you do a favor for someone, whatever you have to do, you're gonna get what you want when you want it or when you need it, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think if he really wants help, now he can go, you know, and look for that help. And I'll be here, you know, hopefully, you know, it's not too late. You know, I don't want to see my son, obviously, you know, like on the other side. I don't want to see him, you know, I hope, you know, and I hope that he will be able to recuperate and be a happy person. I'm not saying not even successful or anything, it's just a happy person, you know. That's what I gave birth to my kids, you know, like I wanna and I you know, like raise them, you know, to be happy, not to be rich and powerful. No, be happy with what you do and be happy with what you have. Be happy. You're here only for a little bit. This is a trip right here.
I love that because that's really not how our culture tries to raise our children. It's pretty much like the opposite of how our culture tries to raise our children. I just want you to be happy. I don't think I've ever heard that from my parents ever. I had to be like something of prominence. I had to be successful, own a business. I had to be like almost risen up.
It took me years, Benito. It took me years to think like that. Now that I am a mother of a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I'm a little wiser than I was, you know, like If I can say that word, wiser. Yes. Yes, because like you learn. You're learning. It's a learning process. Your life is a learning process. Your whole life. You never stop learning, like I said in the beginning. Cristina, she wants to be an artist. And I was like, okay. It takes a lot. But one of the things that I really encourage my children, obviously, as a Latino or any other culture, get your education. You're a little woman, you're a little girl. Get your education so nobody can step on your toes. And then after your education, if you want to be an artist, go for it. You can do in between, but don't stop your education. She's only 8. She's 9. She's 9. She's just turned 9. And the 5-year-old, the same. You want to be a doctor. If you want to be whatever you want to be happy. Be happy. I think is the ultimate goal, to be happy. I don't want them to be like, obviously, if they're rich, amazing, great for them, good, go for it. It's great. But I want them to be happy, like that's my goal. I want them to be happy.
Yeah, I love that.
But also finish your career, but I want you to be happy. You're right. I think you have to. You have to, especially nowadays, where can you go? What can you do, if you don't have your education?
It's tough. It takes a lot more extra work.
Yes. And then I don't want them to see them like me. I don't want them to get married at 16. I don't want them to have children at 17. And no. Yeah. And
I'm still fighting my mom on not having kids right now. She wants grandchildren.
Hey, you're being smart. You've been very smart.
We're waiting. But she asked my wife and I every time we come over to her house.
¿Cuándo van a tener un niño?
Yeah. And then it also doesn't help that my sister has 2 kids. So
Benito, how old are you?
29.
You can be my son. You could be my son.
I would love for you to be my mom.
You can be my son, yeah. And you?
31.
I am 46 years old. I'll be 47. So, my son is 28. So, 1 year old, same thing. Yeah, you could be my son.
So, I want to talk about...
I'm sorry if I move the whole subject.
No, that's what this is for.
Yeah,
that's what this whole thing is for. It has no rules to it. We can do whatever we want.
Okay.
But one thing I was really curious about was, I was really heartbroken when I saw H.O.E. Nativo get closed down. I was really that really hurt me.
I think, you know what? It hurt a lot of people from the community. The people who really appreciate, my purpose with that place.
Yeah. So explain what H.O.E. Nativo was.
So H.O.E. Nativo to me was a cultural shop. That's what it was. I wanted to show the world, and not only the world, but our community and our tourists, because we live off of tourists in Barrio Logan. That Mexico or Latin America is not only a sombrero and a zarape. That's what I wanted to show them. A lot of people from the United States or other countries think that Mexico doesn't have good taste. They think that Mexico is only the Mexican flag and the zarapes. I'm not, a lot of people does not know that Mexico is beautiful and we have beautiful art. We have beautiful artists. We have beautiful places. And I wanted to bring that to the people who do not know about, the deepest part and the smallest and the most beautiful treasures that we have in Mexico. That was what H.O.E. Nativo was. A cultural, Mexican, Latin American shop. I had a lot of local artists from here, from Logan, from Tijuana, from Ensenada, from different places that have their pieces on consignment in our store. You had the opportunity to see Nativo. Unfortunately, this pandemic didn't let me continue with my dream, because that was my dream store. I wanted to open a little, and everybody said, this is hipster, this is too much, this is this. A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people, and it's okay. Everybody has their point of view. It's all right. I'm not fighting with anybody. And it was a challenge because Nativo was Chicano Art Gallery. where this amazing artist was there, and people were mad because, they were closing our cultural, gallery. And I understand that. And it was tough, when I decided to rent a space there. I did not know that I was going to be my space because the space that I wanted, it was already occupied. So they say, oh, we don't have that, but we have this. And I was like, oh, okay. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened? And
I know it got shut down and then people were kind of squatting in it after a while and stuff too, right? It was... that's kind of just on the surface of what I know.
Yeah, and then everything, calmed down. I had a lot of, how do you say apoyo?
Support.
Support, yeah. I had a lot of support from the community. The leaders from the community. They saw that I was a hardworking woman, that I was there with my family. I was not an outsider. I was Latina. I was Mexican, an entrepreneur, hardworking person, And I think that helped us a lot because they saw that we were doing something right.
Yeah, and I think that's super important because you and I were talking in Casa Sovi Grande.
Yes.
Right? We were talking about how, the process of you closing the store. And I had asked, because I had already had an inkling feeling that the people who own the buildings aren't from our Hispanic community.
You know what? That's a lot of people think that they're not Hispanic. The owner of that place, Nativo, Nativo, she's Latina, Mexicana. She's Mexican, and she lives here in San Diego. And a lot of people don't know. They're missed. Communicate, or they say no, she's Latina, she's a Latina person,
Yeah, but the surrounding buildings, most of the surrounding buildings?
Well, some of them are Persian and Russian and Mexican and I think Black. I'm not sure, not sure, but it's a little bit of everything. But there's not a lot of Latinos in owners.
Yeah, so that's the piece that's super interesting to me because. Our culture is there. Our people are there. Our art is there. Everything that represents a Chicano and Hispanic, which to me they're different.
Yes.
Right? Being Chicano to me isn't I relate more with being Chicano than I do Mexican, Mexico,
you're
right?
Chicano because you were born here from parents.
Yeah,
I'm
Mexicana
because I was born in Mexico, but I came here.
Yeah. So there's that's why I identify, because it's hard to
what's the difference? The difference is if you're an American Mexican?
Yes, then you fall. It's sort of like a third culture that was created.
Exactly.
So Chicano doesn't necessarily fit into American culture because we're not necessarily accepted fully into American culture. And since we're born here, we're not also fully accepted into Mexican culture either. We're still called gringos and, a bunch of other different things. So then Chicano culture.
Can you say some words?
Gringos.
No.
Oh.
¿Cómo?
A ver, ¿qué nos dicen?
Pochos.
Pochos, yeah. Pochos. Yeah, pochos is a big one.
I love the honestly, the culture that you say is it's a culture that we made or adopt.
It's like a culture that got created out of
yes, that's the word. Yeah, created, and I love it. Because they take our culture, or we take that culture. Because I consider myself, with this into the culture. Why? Because I'm Latina. Because I'm, Mexicana. Because I'm brown. And I love it. I'm so proud of it, and I love the way they really appreciate our the deepest parts of our culture, like Aztec, and Zapotec, and all of these amazing cultures that we have in Mexico. They know probably more than a lot of people, because they really study and they go deep into it. And I love it.
We had to teach ourselves that.
Exactly.
Because we, here, for myself, so I grew up in El Cajon, way east in El Cajon too, almost Alpine El Cajon. So all of this was foreign to me.
Yes.
And being in a predominantly white area, which is, East County, none of that was even a thing. I almost had to pacify myself to and I had talked about it a few weeks ago here, but this assimilation, to resign parts of my culture to be accepted into the broader thing. And it wasn't until I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where I kind of looked at it and I'm like, I'm never going to be white. right? Like I'm never gonna be
No
white.
creo, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, right. So I was like, I want to learn more about what my whole culture is, and it's so that like led me into a deep dive into like Aztlan culture, into the Aztec
Beautiful.
culture, like all of these things that make me as a Chicano. And so that's why like all of this deep education and stuff, I had to find that for myself.
And that makes you happy, right?
It does, because it's empowering.
I know.
Right? Because it's a little difficult because like, the Aztec genocide, there was like such a big wipe from our culture, our language, our religions, all of our spiritual stuff. So sometimes it gets a little frustrating because you want to keep finding more and more.
Yes.
And since all of that was so eradicated, it gets hard to find like where like our true roots came from. So the stuff that survived, which is beautiful that it survived. I'm so happy it survived, right? And so that's the stuff that like I have found. My sister did it also. Some of my other family, we hit like this point. Like being in I don't know, I was like 25 or something like that.
So it's not too long ago.
No. So we all hit this point in our 20s where we were like,
let's see. Let's check all this.
Right?
Let's check all this.
And it's all gone. And so that's
that's why you came here.
And that's why I was so gravitated, and I moved up the street with my wife.
That happened to me when I came to Logan. As soon as I saw, and I'm going to say it, proudly, my people, my culture, my language, my ancestors. I just feel so connected. I'm probably a person that you won't see, talking about it, but I like to represent wearing the textiles from Mexico, selling at the stores all the beautiful stuff that I want to wear every day. Obviously, I love, everything else as well, but I love to see and to represent every time I'm wearing something from Mexico, like a beautiful dress and a beautiful skirt. I go anywhere.
It's empowering.
Yes. And the people who really appreciate, they'll stop me and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I love your atuendo, your the way you're dressing, and that makes me feel good, because I use it with a lot of pride, I'm very proud. I'm very proud of my ancestor. I'm very proud of my culture. I am very proud of what I do to, promote the culture here.
Yeah.
As much as, I could learn. I mean, I can tell you a list of people that they know so much about our ancestors. And I like to speak to them and talk to them. And, I would like to sit with them because they're amazing. And here in Logan, I mean, I made really good friends and I love it. I really, really love it. I enjoy that.
That's awesome. So I kind of want to bring it back, like with the COVID stuff. How did you see that affect the community down here and like other minority-owned businesses? And what? So you were on the front line of it.
Yes.
I'm just a consumer right now.
Yes. Well, I think affect us a lot to everybody. Speaking for myself, it's just honestly, it didn't kill my dreams, but made me realize many things. One of them that you can fail, but you can get up again. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can fail again and you can get up again, and so on and so forth. You can keep doing it. Nothing is gonna happen. We have to learn. Like I said I had an interview on TV, and I said this.
La Chingona or Más Chingona?
No, and was in Telemundo.
Oh, in Telemundo. Okay.
Yes, and they asked me this, very good question. I really like that question. They said, "So what do you think about the COVID?" They told me, I said, I think we have to learn to live with it because it's gonna be here forever. So we have to learn to live with it. We have to respect. We have to protect ourselves. We have to protect others until see what happens, until we have a cure or, like something to help us to, stop spreading the virus. But it really somehow killed somehow, but didn't. Like my dream. And because Nativo was my dream store, like I told you before. Nativo, I put all of my efforts. I spent all of my money. All of my credit cards are maxed up to this day. I spoke to the architect who helped me to design Nativo, Giancarlo. And he came 2 weeks ago on Saturday. And he said, well, I'm sorry. I said, you know what? It's okay. I'm alive. I can do it again. It was really hard because I could work with my other landlords and they worked really well with me, but I couldn't work with this person. It's a long story. So unfortunately, it was either close all of the stores or close one of them or condense my business. So I have to be very smart to see what move I was going to make. It was really hard decision. It was one of the hardest decisions I ever made, like for a business, talking about business. So Nativo came from Casa Xochitl, Chiquita. Nativo was born because Casa Xochitl was there. The first store was Casa Xochitl. So as a person, I take very personal my business. They're like my kids. So I said, okay, who gave me the opportunity to have Nativo? That was Casa Xochitl. So I have to be loyal to Casa Xochitl. So I have to keep Casa Xochitl and close Nativo. It was hard. It was very hard, but I had to make a decision. Now I'm facing charges on money, like
overdraft fees and stuff.
So many things. I have already some letters that you don't even want to know about. But I will take whatever they bring.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can do. It wasn't because of me. It wasn't because I wanted to close my store. Who wants to close their store, their dream, their investment? You tell me.
Nobody.
You tell me, you saw the store, you see the environment.
Brought as many people that I could to that store.
And the environment and the feeling inside the store, it was just peaceful and nice and attractive. Everything that I have on the displays, it was amazing. Everything was different pieces, like Mexican art and Latino art, and also lots of local artists having their stuff displayed there because they're hidden, but that was a place to put their stuff to sell it.
Absolutely. So, all right. So I think I have like one more question for you that I love to ask to people who I think are prominent in the Latino community. What is your vision for the Latino community? So we have all the things that have been happening lately have brought up a lot of things, right? And I started to look inward into our own culture and some of the issues that we have like within our own, right? But like, so to you, what is the vision that you have? Oh, I was open about it. I think I was way open about it, and I went in on a very, very long rant about it. But like, so what is your vision for our community?
That is a very good question. My vision is to empower every single person that is an entrepreneur, and don't let down anybody. I think that we can survive. I think that we can make it. Like I said, if you are there and if you wake up early, my vision is to see our community as successful as never been. After all of this, I want our community to be successful. Every single little business owner, every single artist. I think that we can make it. I think that we all have the tools. I think we all have the power to do it. We have the resources as well. You have to go look for them. There's plenty of them. I like to talk to a lot of people and give them ideas. You can always give ideas. They're free. When you give ideas, you open their minds or they open your mind. they give me lots of ideas, and I put in place some of them, and the ones that I don't like, I just throw them away. You know, it is you know, I wish that our community could be, you know, like stronger, you know, and I wish that everybody can come with a
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, like, what do you think are the things that stand in the way? Like, within our own culture, what do you think are the things that stand in the way of, like, what your vision is?
I don't understand the...
So...
A ver, pregúntame en español.
Okay. So, tienes tu visión.
Sí.
Y entro en nuestra cultura, ¿qué son las cosas que son obstáculos entre nosotros?
Nosotros mismos.
Entre nosotros
mismos.
Yeah.
We are our own obstacles. Like I said earlier. Sometimes you feel because you're a minority, you're not heard, but you need to speak louder. If you're not heard, speak louder. Or go look for resources or educate yourself. We are our own barrier. We are our own, you know, like I truly believe that. You're your own barrier, nobody else. You know, like maybe there is a lot of issues out there too, but you have to let those issues... Could I explain this?
¿Me lo puedes decir
en español? Okay.
Okay. I'll translate.
Okay, thank you. Yo creo que la única barrera que podemos tener nosotros como latinos somos nosotros. Tenemos que ser fuertes, tenemos que tener voz, tenemos que luchar, tenemos que seguir luchando porque es una carrera, es un maratón. Esto es un maratón. ¿Por qué? Porque tenemos que llegar a una meta, pero no es quien llega primero. No, aquí es un maratón. Todos ganan, pero es largo.
Yes.
Es largo.
So, Jesse, what she was basically
I kind of understood.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
heard
what she was
lucha
saying,
and I heard marathon.
So what she's saying is, like, us as minorities, like, we need our voices heard, and we need to have them heard louder. And basically, instead of, we all do this together. This isn't a sprint. This is a marathon, and a marathon that we all have to complete together and bring each other up with the support. With, you know, like you're saying, like if the corner market succeeds, we succeed.
Yes.
If you succeed, I succeed.
Exactly.
And so everything around here, if one person succeeds, so does the person across the street.
Exactly. And be equal. You know, try to help each other. Don't compete to each other. Help each other.
Yes.
And it's one of the things that the bucket of the
bucket of crabs.
Exactly.
Yes.
Don't pull yours. Let's all work together.
Yes.
You know, it's important. It's one of the things that I see in the community, and it's amazing. I really like it. You know, I've been lucky. I've been very, very fortunate to have all of the entrepreneurs from Logan Avenue, you know, and all the support from them. And also, you know, like the people say, what do you sell the most? What do you sell the most? What do I sell the most? I'm asking you, Benito. You were beating my store many times.
Yeah. Let me see. What do you ask me?
See, he's not going to give me the right answer. The answer that I'm waiting for?
Well, no, because I'm trying.
You're close. You're close. You're warm.
I mean, I could say like you sell unity or something. You sell love, right?
You sell.
What do you sell the most of?
You sell yourself. How you sell yourself.
You told me that before. Yes, you've told me that many times.
Yes. Yeah. If you treat people good in your community, in your store, in your restaurant, in your whatever you have, in your shop, in your art hub, in your studio, if you are good to people, people will come to you. If you treat people right, people will come to you. Even though you don't have the most beautiful or the most valuable place or whatever, you know, a piece of art, whatever. If you treat them right, people will come to you with respect. If you treat them with respect, they'll come to you again. It's like when you go to a restaurant. The restaurant, probably the food is not good, but the waiter or the waitress that takes care of you, it's amazing. And you just go because of that waiter or that waitress takes care of you because you want to see her and you want to talk to her or them, right? That's what you sell.
Awesome. Well, Xochitl, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
Muy agradecido.
Gracias a ti.
Muy agradecido.
Amazing.
So go ahead, plug all your Instagram, your social media, so people can find you. Go ahead, plug that away. How do people find you?
Híjole. Okay, you can follow us in Instagram. It's Casa_XOVI, and that's Casa Xochitl. And then we have Shop Nativo. We have it online only, so you can. Now we have a website. We didn't have one for so long, so now we have a virtual store. It's shop_nativo. That's Instagram as well. And now we have the website. And also on Casa Xochitl, you can link to the Shop Nativo website.
Awesome.
And also we have Sabor de Antano. It's one word, Sabor de Antano. And I don't know if I have a Facebook, but I think so. I think
so?
Shop Nativo and Casa Xochitl, something like that.
Where's your store located?
It's okay. We have one in 2151 Logan Avenue, San Diego, California, 92113, obviously, Barrio Logan.
Right.
And the other one, it's 2146 J Street. No, not J Street. 2146 Logan Avenue in Suite J, which is right behind Café Por Vida. Mm-hmm. And it's a little teeny store. It's Casa Xochitl Chiquita.
That's where I go to get my
Awesome.
shirts.
Yes.
This shirt is
I love
from,
it. Yeah.
Mitla.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, awesome.
Oaxaca.
So again, Xochitl, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Estoy muy agradecido.
No, thank you guys. Thank you so much. It was fun. I hope, I've been honest. I'm
course,
telling you, I even tell part of my life here and it feels good. Let's be real. And I'm here for you guys whenever. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. All right, we're out.
Bye.
Vultures circling above, they all in a piece, but they don't even know my name. Won't get even the swipe for the train. Cloudy, ride to the airport, gotta get right for the plane. Custom, smell like kush. Wifey hand in the tish. Yes, and I got no shame. Never. Some line to shine. With a broke if you got no game. Waking up next to a scat. Can't go home to a dame. Nah, tell them sell to the same. Really though, who can they blame? I don't blame them either. They just wanna play the game and they're eager still. I don't wanna know you. I'm busy. You don't even know thyself.